What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Long-distance teleportation during a time stop was an outrageous feat. It defied conventional limits. The ability to perceive the suspended world and share this perception through the soul corridor was a testament to how extraordinary this connection was. With that capability, nearly anything seemed possible. I wasn't going to hold back now.
Ultima, I'm relying on you.
Yes, Rimuru-sama, leave it to me. Veldora-sama, are you ready?
Of course. Finally, my time to shine.
Veldora's booming laughter was oddly reassuring. Knowing that Diablo and Ultima had adapted to the suspended world was also a tremendous relief. I felt Veldora's energy shift as he teleported. And then, the world began to move again. As expected, Veldora handled the situation admirably. Feeling reassured, I returned my focus to the mission. I flew toward the barren lands, doing my best to divert Milam's attention and keep her under control. Jahil, meanwhile, was seething with frustration as he fought Kigali and her team. He had underestimated them, assuming they were insignificant nuisances. Yet despite his efforts, he hadn't managed to deal any decisive blows. His anger simmered, but his mind remained sharp, fully aware of the broader situation unfolding around him.
Impossible! I can't believe it that the Dragon Princess could possess such a monstrous level of power. No, that's not even the main issue.
The real concern was Zalario's betrayal. Somehow, even Zalario had joined the effort to restrain Milam. This was a catastrophic development. Jahil didn't care about allegiance to Feldway or the politics behind it. What mattered was that his situation had become perilous. For Jahil, the lack of dependable allies in this region was a glaring weakness. If it were just Kigali and her group, he could handle them without much trouble. But with Zalario now a potential enemy, even Jahil's escape was no longer assured.
Feldway, things have spiraled out of control.
Jahil's voice rang out furiously through the telepathy net, aimed directly at Feldway. After a moment of silence, Feldway's voice came through, sounding grim.
Zalario betrayed us.
Now's not the time to be shocked. At this rate, I will be in real danger. I am pulling back. Do I have your approval?
Even as Jahil voiced his frustration, he was already retreating. To Jahil, this situation was humiliating, being driven back by such insignificant opponents. However, his caution was what had kept him alive for so long. Without it, he would have been obliterated by Milam's power long ago. Seizing the Origin Blood, Jahil unleashed a power he had never used before. The might of the Origin Blood was immense. By forcibly bending it to his will, Jahil became its master, but he understood the risks of overuse due to its volatile nature. Nonetheless, it was his ultimate weapon, his trump card in dire situations. Combined with his abilities, this power transformed into the terrifying, evil blood wave, capable of wiping entire nations off the map. At its core, this technique functioned like a massive vaporization bomb. By igniting magicules dispersed across a wide area, it created a firestorm of devastating proportions. Jahil hadn't been fighting aimlessly. While fending off Tyr and Sylvia, he had covertly spread magicules across the battlefield. Now, the area was saturated, turning it into a ticking inferno, ready to ignite at his command.
Let's see how they handle my evil blood wave.
While devastating against armies, the attack lacked the raw power needed to finish off stronger opponents. But for most Majins and lesser beings, survival was impossible. The dispersed magicules engulfed Sarian's Magus, as well as Zalario's forces. Jahil didn't care, sacrificing them was a small price to pay for his escape. It was the perfect distraction, and he used it without hesitation.
All of you worthless pasts, bow before my greatness.
Jahil roared as the evil blood wave erupted into a sea of fire. The sacred tree was swallowed by the flames, its bark igniting under the searing heat. The Magus, stationed to protect the tree, were consumed in an instant. Sylvia and Tyr, positioned in front of Jahil, and Kigali, who stood further back, were also caught in the inferno, unable to react in time.
Burn in hell, you fools! Regret your defiance in the afterlife!
Jahil laughed maniacally, disappearing into the flames as he made his escape. The flames raged fiercely, setting even the air around them ablaze. Yet, just as Jahil vanished,
"Honestly, what a careless fool,"
Benimaru muttered. And with that, all the flames were extinguished in an instant. What should have been catastrophic destruction turned out to be minimal. Sylvia, Tyr, and Kigali emerged completely unscathed. Even the Magus, who had been in the most perilous positions, escaped without harm. A few Magitech knights, exposed to the brief heat, were immobilized temporarily, but their bodies remained protected, sparing them from any severe injuries. As for the sacred tree, though its surface appeared scorched, its branches were intact and healthy. The damage was largely superficial. It would return to its original state within days, showing no sign of the disaster that had nearly consumed it.
Honestly, controlling the air unnoticed by Jahil was no easy task, you know?
As expected from your Majesty Elmija. Just as I hoped, you took the most appropriate action.
Benimaru flashed a calm smile, aiming to placate the grumbling Elmija. From this brief exchange, it was clear that the minimized damage caused by the evil blood wave was thanks to Benimaru's behind-the-scenes efforts. His contributions were so pivotal that they could be deemed exceptional. He was a pillar of competence in every aspect of the operation. Benimaru not only assisted Kigali and the others in their fight against Jahil but also coordinated the strategy to stop Milam. On top of that, he uncovered Jahil's plot and collaborated with Elmija to preemptively neutralize the threat. Jahil's scattered magicules were a specialized flammable substance called blood mist. This ability stemmed from the origin blood, a power sometimes employed by vampires. Its scent slightly differed from naturally occurring magicules, and through his refined, magic power manipulation, Benimaru detected the discrepancy and realized Jahil's sinister intent. Interestingly, Benimaru wasn't the only one to notice. Sylvia had quickly identified the danger but lacked a concrete plan to counteract it. While evacuation was an option, it wouldn't fully prevent casualties. Worse, any premature action could provoke Jahil into accelerating his attack. Torn between potential risks, she sought Benimaru's guidance, hoping his insight would mitigate widespread damage. Benimaru, already aware of the situation, assessed the threat with precision. While his awareness was remarkable, the true solution came as divine inspiration.
Harness Elmija's ultimate skill, Heavenly Wind King Veu, to extract only the blood mist, and use the ultimate skill Heat King Amaterasu to incinerate the magic blood alone.
Upon receiving this advice, Benimaru acted decisively. Some mysteries, he believed, were better left unexplored. Even when Rimuru had channeled the energy from Nihility Collapse, that same celestial voice had guided him. Yet, Benimaru chose to ignore its origins and accept it as part of Rimuru's will.
Everything unfolds as Rimuru-sama desires. If this divine voice aids Rimuru-sama's plan, I'll follow it without question.
With this mindset, Benimaru played an active role both on the battlefield and behind the scenes. Through Elmija's collaboration, along with the support of others, he successfully thwarted Jahil's scheme. Thus, thanks to the combined efforts of Benimaru, Sylvia, and Elmija, Jahil's plan fell apart. Although Jahil managed to escape, Benimaru decided that chasing him wasn't worth exhausting their already limited resources. For now, achieving this much was the optimal result. Once the dust settled, Benimaru collapsed. Seeing that Jahil had fled, he allowed himself to finally relax. Soy, as though anticipating this, swiftly moved to support him.
It's no wonder, he's done an extraordinary job.
Elmija's gaze was filled with admiration as she looked at Benimaru, now unconscious, and her tone carried genuine respect. To her, Benimaru was the hero who had saved Sarian from disaster. Recognizing the sheer effort he had poured into this mission, her reaction was entirely justified. But despite Benimaru's invaluable contributions, Elmija's responsibilities were far from over. The most pressing task was to address Solario and his remaining forces, who were still intact and posed a significant threat. Jahil's retreat had brought the battlefield to a temporary standstill, with both sides hesitating to make the next move. Elmija was left debating whether to resume the battle or attempt to negotiate a truce. Because Benimaru had focused on nullifying Jahil's attack, Solario's forces had escaped unscathed. This placed Sarian's army at a slight disadvantage overall. While the bulk of the enemy army wasn't an overwhelming threat, the two opposing commanders were a different story, presenting a host of challenges. Furthermore, it remained uncertain whether the enemy would even entertain the idea of a ceasefire. Running through numerous scenarios in her mind, Elmija analyzed potential outcomes at lightning speed. But before her deliberations could reach a conclusion, the answer to her worries presented itself. Dali's and Nice commanded Solario's forces. These subordinates, along with their closest confidants, were remnants of a failed struggle for the reincarnation of an undead elf. Their egos had been erased. Members of the Throne Angel class lacked the will to resist, their spirit had been eroded over countless years of monotonous, unchanging duty. This gradual erosion left them hollow, their identities worn thin. Part of this may have been influenced by Zalario's personality as a warrior. In stark contrast, Obera's forces exhibited a fierce unity. Her troops admired her deeply, fostering a bond of loyalty that ran strong. Though many had fallen in battle and only Oma remained as her deputy, Obera's warriors were brave individuals who willingly laid down their lives for her. Meanwhile, Zalario's forces operated like a cold, efficient machine. Individuality had no place among them, they functioned as mere components in a system, following orders without question. This lack of identity meant that Zalario had few genuine companions. Only two now remained by his side, Dolly's and Niece. Approaching Zalario, they posed their queries.
For reasons unclear, Benimaru seemed to shield us during the fighting. As a result, the battle has paused. Should we resume it?
Zalario-sama, are you certain about your intentions? Have you truly betrayed Feldway-sama?
Dolly's inquired with the detached precision of a clerk confirming routine details, while Niece subtly sought clarity on Zalario's future course. Zalario found their differing approaches intriguing.
Could it be a sense of individuality has awakened within them?
Until now, Zalario had never considered the possibility that his lieutenants might possess personal viewpoints. Realizing this brought him an unexpected sense of satisfaction.
You two are so earnest.
Both Dolly's and Niece froze in astonishment. Zalario's unexpected smile left them utterly bewildered. For as long as they could remember, Zalario had never once shown such an expression.
Zalario-sama.
Is this some sort of strategy, or are you testing us?
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Jay, Donald Williams, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, T. Bush, JV, Thomas, Christ, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Divine C. Harris, Montyboy 98, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Isaac, Koala King 93, Quilly Buckner, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Nate, Leiron Sangkap, Lucas Guet, Jason Martin, Foolish Prophets, Sky T, Andre Hamilton, Martin Ramos, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Ara Dare, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Kamal Luke, Elvin Quarty, Ian Sikibiol, Thanacorn Lee Sawat, KACP9R, The Harv, Drayden Yamauchi, Karam Faraj, Joshua Wolf, Ace Ventura. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.